Your strength is built in the moments you choose to push forward when it feels impossible. When you refuse to make excuses, you unlock the power to change your life. Life can be overwhelming. We all face challenges that feel impossible to overcome at times. Whether it's a personal loss, financial struggles, or the weight of everyday stress, there are moments when it seems like everything is working against us. But here's something you might not know. Tough times are not the end of the road, they're a part of life. What matters most is how we deal with them. In this video, I'm going to share with you 10 things you must do to survive through tough times. These aren't just feel-good ideas. These are real, actionable steps that can make a huge difference in how you handle challenges. If you've ever felt stuck, lost, or like you're running out of options, these steps will help you take control and move forward. Are you tired of feeling like your circumstances control you? Do you wish you had a way to break free from that constant pressure? If you're ready to take your power back and turn these tough times into a stepping stone for your growth, then stay with me. These 10 things are going to show you how to build the strength and mindset to rise above any challenge. Let's dive in. Number 1. Take full responsibility for everything happening right now. When you face a difficult situation, when things aren't going as planned, or when life throws you a curveball, there's a single powerful question that you can ask yourself. What can I control right now? It's a question that will change the way you think, act, and respond to life's challenges. Because the moment you realize that everything that is happening in your life right now is in some way connected to the choices you've made or the actions you've taken, you unlock the power to change the direction of your life. Taking full responsibility for your circumstances is not about blaming yourself. It's not about guilt, shame, or self-pity. It's about recognizing that the key to overcoming obstacles and moving forward lies in your hands. It's about accepting that you have control over how you respond, what you do next, and what you choose to focus on. The instant you take responsibility for your life, you reclaim your power. You take the first step toward creating the life you want, no matter how difficult or uncertain things may seem right now. We often like to blame external factors for our problems. It's easier to point the finger at circumstances, other people, or the situation at hand. We might say, if only I had a better job, or if only I had more support, or if only this or that would change, I could be successful. The reality, however, is that the one constant you can count on, no matter what happens in your life, is you. You are the one who makes decisions. You are the one who decides how you act. You are the one who chooses how you respond to setbacks, disappointments, and failures. The truth is that taking responsibility for your life means accepting that you have the power to change your situation. You might not be able to control everything that happens to you, but you have the ability to control how you react to it. You can decide whether you'll use it as a lesson or let it break you down. You can choose to be a victim of your circumstances, or you can choose to take charge of your life and change your future. The power lies in your choices, and when you realize that, you are free to create the life you desire. This doesn't mean that bad things won't happen to you. Life has its ups and downs, and sometimes we face things we didn't see coming. But even in those moments, you can decide how to respond. You can decide whether you'll face challenges with resilience or with fear. You can choose whether you'll look for solutions or make excuses. Every situation, no matter how difficult, is an opportunity for growth, but it's up to you to decide whether you'll rise to the occasion or let it hold you back. Taking full responsibility is about understanding that you are the one who has the power to create change. It's about recognizing that you are responsible for your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions. When you take responsibility for everything happening in your life, you stop giving away your power. You stop waiting for someone else to fix things for you. You stop blaming circumstances for where you are and start taking the actions necessary to change the trajectory of your life. This mindset shift is crucial for moving forward. When you own your situation, you take control of your outcomes. You stop waiting for a perfect moment or for someone else to come along and change things for you. You stop making excuses for why you can't achieve what you want. Instead, you take action. You take responsibility for your success. You take responsibility for the habits you need to build, the work you need to do, and the mindset you need to develop in order to get to where you want to be. No one is going to do it for you. Taking full responsibility doesn't mean you need to have all the answers or the perfect plan. It's about being honest with yourself. It's about recognizing that where you are today is a result of the choices you've made, and that the future you create will be based on the choices you make right now. Every choice you make, no matter how small, has an impact on the direction of your life. It's the decisions you make today that will shape your tomorrow. And the moment you take responsibility for that, you start taking control of your destiny. This concept also applies to how you view failure. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't go the way you expect them to. We all experience setbacks, but the difference between those who keep moving forward and those who give up lies in how we handle failure. When you take full responsibility, you stop seeing failure as a personal defeat. Instead, you see it as feedback, a lesson on what you can improve or change. You realize that failure is not the end. It's an opportunity to learn and grow. And when you take responsibility for learning from those mistakes, you become stronger, wiser, and better equipped to handle future challenges. Responsibility also means that you stop letting fear control you. Fear is a natural response to uncertainty, but when you take responsibility, you push through that fear. You don't let it stop you from pursuing your goals. You face fear head-on, knowing that it's part of the process. Every successful person has experienced fear, doubt, and uncertainty. What sets them apart is that they didn't let those emotions dictate their actions. Instead, they took responsibility for moving forward anyway. One of the most powerful things you can do in difficult times is to stop feeling sorry for yourself. We all face challenges, but the more we dwell on what's wrong, the more powerless we feel. Taking full responsibility for your life means choosing to focus on what you can do to improve things. It means shifting your energy from complaining or feeling victimized to taking proactive steps. Every moment spent focusing on the negative is a moment that could be better spent taking action. So instead of wasting energy on blame or regret, focus on what's within your control and take steps toward your goals. It's important to remember that taking responsibility doesn't mean doing everything on your own. It doesn't mean that you don't ask for help or seek guidance when you need it. What it means is that you stop waiting for someone else to change your circumstances. You stop looking for excuses or distractions, and you take ownership of your role in shaping your future. You understand that while you can't control everything that happens to you, you can control how you respond, and that response is everything. Taking full responsibility also helps you create a sense of purpose. When you own your actions and decisions, you start to understand that every choice you make matters. You begin to realize that the things you do today, no matter how small, contribute to the bigger picture. This creates a sense of empowerment and direction. You begin to see that you are the author of your own story, and you have the power to rewrite it at any time. So make a commitment to take full responsibility for everything happening in your life right now. Recognize that the power to change, grow, and succeed is in your hands. Own your choices, your actions, and your mindset. Stop blaming, stop making excuses, and start taking control of your future. When you do, you'll discover the immense power you have to create the life you want, no matter what obstacles come your way.
Number 2, create a clear plan for what happens next. When everything falls apart and the world around you feels uncertain, the most important thing you can do is pause and decide what comes next. Not emotionally, not reactively, but calmly and clearly. Because when life turns upside down, your power lies in your ability to make a decision about where you are going from here. A clear plan is your lifeline. It is your tool for direction when you feel lost. When you are overwhelmed, it is easy to get stuck in overthinking. Your mind begins to jump from problem to problem, and nothing feels stable. You start to feel frozen, like you cannot take a step forward because you do not know which step is right. That is why creating a plan is not just helpful. It is essential. When you create a plan, you are choosing progress. You are refusing to live in confusion. You are making a statement to yourself that says, I may not have control over everything, but I have control over my next move. That is powerful, because it reminds you that you are not powerless.
You are still capable of thinking, acting, and building your future even if things feel uncertain now. You do not need to build a perfect plan. You do not need to map out the next 10 years of your life. What you need is a clear strategy for the next day or the next week. You need a structure that gives your mind something to focus on so that you do not drift back into helplessness. Start by writing down your current reality. What are the facts? What is working and what is not? Be honest. Do not sugarcoat it. The truth is your starting point, and you cannot move forward if you are pretending to be somewhere you are not. Then ask yourself a direct question. What are the 3 most important things I need to take care of right now? Not next year, not eventually, but right now. Maybe you need to rebuild your finances. Maybe your health has been neglected. Maybe your relationships are falling apart. Whatever it is, identify it and commit to it. From there, break it down into actions. Not dreams, not intentions, but specific actions. Do not say, I want to get healthy. Say, I will exercise for 20 minutes each morning. Do not say, I want to get out of debt. Say, I will track my spending and stop using credit this week. A plan is only useful if it turns thoughts into action. And when you create these actions, make them realistic. You are not trying to prove anything to anyone. You are trying to build consistency. Small steps repeated daily create massive change over time, but only if you stick to them. The next part is critical. Schedule your plan. Put it on paper. Create a time and place for each task. Do not leave it floating in your mind, because if you do, it will be the first thing that gets pushed aside when stress hits. And stress will hit. Life will throw interruptions at you. That is why your plan needs to be strong enough to hold its place in your day. A plan also protects your energy. When you are in survival mode, your mental energy is precious. You cannot waste it on indecision. You need a system to follow. Something that tells your mind, here is what we are doing next. That structure gives you peace. It keeps you grounded. It also brings back your confidence. Because when you have direction, you start to feel capable again. You start to believe in yourself again. And that belief builds momentum. You do not need to feel inspired all the time. What you need is a reason to keep moving. And a plan gives you that reason. You might not know how everything will turn out, but that is not the goal. The goal is to get through this season with purpose, with intention, with self-respect. And that happens when you wake up each day and say, here is what I am doing and why it matters. Let go of the idea that your plan has to be perfect. It will change. You will make mistakes. You will have to adjust. But progress is not about perfection. Progress is about persistence. It is about doing what you said you would do, even on the hard days. You must also check in with your plan regularly. Look at what is working. Look at what is not. Do not judge yourself. Do not criticize yourself. Simply observe, learn, and adjust. Your plan should evolve as you evolve. It should reflect your growth. And do not forget to include time for recovery. You are human. You need rest. You need moments to breathe. Tough times demand strength. But strength is not about pushing nonstop. It is also about knowing when to pause, when to reflect, and when to refuel. Make your plan personal. Make it meaningful. Make it something that reflects your values. Because a plan that is aligned with who you are is a plan you will follow. Do not copy someone else's system. Create your own, one that fits your life and your priorities. You also need to make space in your plan for the unexpected. Life does not move in a straight line. Challenges will come up. People will disappoint you. Things will break. But when you have a clear foundation, you will not fall apart with every setback. You will adapt. You will keep going. You will stay focused. And remember, you are not your circumstances. You are your choices. You are your discipline. You are your daily habits. A plan is not about controlling the world. It is about controlling yourself. It is about reminding yourself each day that no matter how hard things get, you are not giving up on yourself. That mindset creates freedom. Because now you are not just surviving. You are leading yourself. You are guiding your own life. And that changes everything. So sit down today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today, take a pen. Take a blank page. Look at your reality and decide how you are going to move forward. Write your next steps. Choose your priorities, set your times, and follow through. Number 3, wake up early and win the first hard hour. Waking up early is not just about time, it is about discipline. It is about reclaiming the part of your day that you can fully control. When your life feels uncertain or heavy, the morning gives you a window of opportunity. It gives you space to reset your thoughts, direct your focus, and create momentum before the world starts pulling at you. Most people wake up reacting. They check their phone, they rush out of bed, their day starts in chaos. They move fast, but they are not intentional. They are responding to everything and leading nothing. But when you wake up early on purpose, you flip that. You start from a place of control, not confusion. The first hour of your day shapes the rest of it. If you win that first hour, you set a powerful tone. You tell your mind, I lead my life. I do not wait for it to lead me. And during hard times, you need that inner voice. You need that strength, not the loud kind, not the motivational kind, the grounded kind, the kind that keeps you moving when life feels hard. Waking up early forces you to break out of survival habits. When you're going through something difficult, sleep becomes an escape. It's easy to stay in bed longer than you should. It's tempting to avoid the day, but avoidance never builds strength. Avoidance only creates more pain. What builds strength is showing up, even when you don't feel like it. Getting up early does not mean sacrificing rest. It means choosing when you rest and when you rise. It means creating structure in your life when everything else feels unstable. It means putting yourself in the driver's seat again. And for many people, that first hour is the only time they have to focus on themselves without interruption. So how do you win the first hour? You start by removing all distractions. No phone, no news, no noise. You use that time to connect with yourself. Reflect, move, think, plan. That hour belongs to you. Protect it. The first hour is not about doing 100 things. It's about doing the right things. And doing them with full attention. That could mean writing down your thoughts. It could mean reading something that helps your mind grow. It could mean stretching, or walking, or sitting in silence. It could mean setting goals for the day ahead. Whatever it is, make it count. Make it honest. Do not rush through it. Let it be the hour that reminds you of who you are. Because when you're going through tough times, it's easy to lose yourself in the noise. This hour pulls you back to clarity. Consistency matters more than intensity. Waking up early one time will not change your life, but doing it every day, especially when you don't feel motivated, teaches your mind that you are not ruled by emotion. You are ruled by decision. That's a major shift. Hard times will challenge your routines. They will try to steal your attention. You will be tempted to give up the little habits that keep you grounded. But that first hour is not something you can afford to lose. It is where your strength is rebuilt. It is where your thoughts are cleaned. It is where your direction is decided. Winning the first hour also means being honest about how you feel. It is a time to sit with your thoughts without running from them. Not every morning will feel easy. Some mornings will feel heavy, but facing that weight early helps you carry it better. You're not suppressing it. You're acknowledging it, then choosing how to move forward anyway. You are not just waking up. You are waking up with purpose. That creates inner power. That creates quiet confidence. And the more you build that, the stronger you become. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. This kind of discipline spreads into other parts of your life. When you rise early and lead yourself through the hard hour, you are more likely to stay committed throughout the day. You are more likely to follow through on your priorities. You are more likely to say no to distractions, because you already started the day in alignment. This habit doesn't require perfection. Some mornings will go better than others. The point is to stay consistent, to rise when you said you would, to show up for yourself, even when no one else is watching. That is self-leadership. That is what builds character. That is what gives you control in times of chaos. Even if you are only up 30 minutes earlier than usual, and all you do is sit in quiet thought, you have still claimed a victory, because you didn't choose comfort. You chose intention. You chose movement. You chose growth. You are also giving yourself a powerful message that no matter how dark things feel, you are not broken. You still have strength. You still have choice. You still have fight in you. That message matters more than anything during hard times. Make your early hours something you can look forward to. Do not make it a punishment. Make it a routine that feels meaningful, something that feels like you're investing in yourself. Whether that's reading a few pages of a book that gives you wisdom, writing down your goals, walking in fresh air, or preparing a meal with care, let it be a reminder that your time still belongs to you. The world will throw things at you all day. People will ask for your time. Pressures will build. But if you own your morning, you face those things from a position of strength. You are not behind. You are ahead. You have already centered yourself before the world could scatter you. You must protect this habit. Treat it as sacred. Wake up when you said you would. Keep your promise to yourself. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. And over time you will notice something shift. You will feel clearer, calmer, more focused. The stress won't vanish, but you will be more prepared to face it, because you started your day with direction instead of disorder. Waking up early and winning that first hard hour will not fix everything, but it will remind you of something powerful, that you are capable of leading yourself, that your day is not decided by emotion, but by action, that you are not here to just survive the day. You are here to take ownership of it. That mindset is everything. It's what lifts you when life is heavy. It's what sharpens you when life is blurry. It's what gives you fire when you feel like quitting. So if you want to survive tough times, take the first hour of your day seriously. Rise early, focus deeply, act intentionally, and keep that promise to yourself every single morning. Because if you can win that hour, you can win the day. And if you keep winning your days, you'll survive anything.
Number 4. Remove every excuse that keeps you feeling stuck. Excuses are the lies we tell ourselves to stay the same. They're comfortable, they sound reasonable, and they let us avoid the discomfort of taking full control of our life. But the truth is, if you want to survive and grow through tough times, you must make one powerful decision. You must remove every excuse that keeps you feeling stuck. You must be honest with yourself, more honest than you've ever been, because growth only starts when excuses stop. Excuses come in many forms. I don't have enough time. I wasn't given the right opportunities. I don't have support. It's just too hard. These are not truths. These are thoughts that we choose to believe because they make us feel better about standing still. But here's the real danger. Those excuses don't just protect your comfort, they block your progress. They stop you from seeing how capable you really are, and they slowly convince you that change isn't possible. When you start to remove your excuses, you take back control. You start to see the difference between what's hard and what's impossible. You begin to see what you can do instead of focusing on what you can't. And you'll realize that the only thing that's truly keeping you stuck is the story you keep repeating in your head. We all have stories that we've told ourselves over time. Stories we've accepted as truth. Maybe you've said, I'm just not that type of person. Or I always fail at this. Or that kind of success is for other people. But the moment you pause and question those stories, you begin to take away their power. You start to ask, is this really true? Or what if I tried anyway? And that's where growth begins. Not in waiting for conditions to change, but in challenging the beliefs that have been holding you back. You don't remove excuses by willpower alone. You remove them by building a new mindset, one that focuses on personal responsibility and self-leadership. Instead of saying, I don't know how, you say I'll figure it out. Instead of thinking it's too late for me, you choose to believe. Today is the perfect day to begin. And instead of seeing obstacles as proof that you should quit, you learn to see them as steps in the process. The key is to stop negotiating with your excuses. Don't try to soften them. Don't try to make them sound noble or smart. Call them what they are, limits you've placed on yourself. And once you see them clearly, you can start replacing them with new thoughts and new behaviors. This doesn't happen overnight,
but it happens the moment you decide that your life is more important than your comfort. Now here's something important. Most excuses are rooted in fear. The fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of looking foolish. These are normal human emotions. But when fear becomes the reason you do nothing, it becomes an excuse. And the only way to break free from that is to face it directly. You can't wait to stop being afraid. You have to take action in spite of the fear. That's where your courage is found. Not in the absence of fear, but in your ability to act anyway. Start paying attention to the language you use. Every time you hear yourself say, "I can't," ask yourself if that's really true or just something you've said so many times that it feels true. Challenge your own thinking. Don't wait for someone else to call you out. Be the one who calls yourself out. That's the highest form of personal power. Removing excuses is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming real. Real with where you are. Real with what you've been avoiding. And real about the fact that you can't move forward if you keep giving yourself reasons to stay the same. Life is difficult for all of us, but only the ones who take ownership over their actions ever grow past the difficulty. Here's what happens when you stop making excuses. You begin to see progress. You take your time seriously. You focus on solutions instead of limitations. You stop comparing your life to others because you're too focused on building your own. And you find a kind of peace that comes from knowing that you're doing the best you can with what you have. That peace doesn't come from having it easy. It comes from choosing to be accountable for your future. You must also understand this. Removing excuses requires self-respect. When you respect yourself, you stop giving yourself permission to settle. You hold yourself to a higher standard. You stop looking for shortcuts or blaming other people. You learn to say, "I could have done better," not out of guilt, but out of growth. That's where real confidence begins. Not from pretending to be perfect, but from owning your part and committing to improvement. Let's be clear. Nobody can remove your excuses for you. Motivational videos won't do it. Books won't do it. Friends can encourage you, but they can't walk the path for you. That responsibility is yours and yours alone. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner your life begins to change. Begin by writing down every excuse that's been holding you back. Be brutally honest. Then look at each one and ask, what action can I take to prove this wrong? For every excuse, there's an action that can dissolve it. And even a small step, taken consistently, can dismantle the belief that's been keeping you stuck. Excuses are habits. And like any habit, they can be replaced. When you stop saying, "I don't have time," and start waking up an hour earlier to work on your goals, you've replaced the excuse with effort. When you stop saying, "I'm not motivated," and still show up and do the work, you've replaced the excuse with discipline. Over time, these new actions build a new identity, one rooted in responsibility and resilience. And that identity, once built, will carry you through anything. Because tough times don't last, but strong minds do. And strength is built in the moments when you stop giving yourself a way out. When you choose to stay in the game, to keep going, to push through the discomfort. Those are the moments that shape your character. Those are the moments that teach you who you really are. So, if you want to survive through tough times, start by removing the excuses that have been keeping you in the same place. Replace blame with action. Replace fear with movement. Replace doubt with discipline. The transformation won't be easy, but it will be worth it. And in the end, you'll be proud of the person you became. Not because you had it easy, but because you chose to rise above every excuse and take full control of your life.
Number 5. Do one difficult thing that grows your mental toughness. Mental toughness is not something you're born with. It's something you earn. It's something you shape by the actions you take, especially when those actions are uncomfortable. And one of the most powerful decisions you can make during hard times is to do one thing each day that challenges your strength. Not your physical strength, but your inner resolve. You don't become strong by avoiding difficulty. You become strong by facing it. One decision at a time. You become strong by pushing yourself when it's easier to stop. By doing that one thing you don't want to do but know you need to. That single action may seem small in the moment, but it teaches your mind something powerful. I can handle discomfort. I can do hard things. I don't quit when things get difficult. And that's what mental toughness really is.
It's not about being emotionless. It's not about pretending to be okay when you're not. It's about staying grounded when your emotions feel loud. It's about staying committed when the path isn't smooth. It's about showing up with courage, even when fear is sitting in the room. Doing one difficult thing doesn't have to mean something extreme. You don't need to climb a mountain or run a marathon. It can be as simple as having a conversation you've been avoiding, waking up early when your body wants to sleep in, saying no to something you usually give into, pushing your body when it's tired, telling the truth when it's uncomfortable, choosing silence when you feel like reacting. These choices are not glamorous. They don't always come with applause, but they build something inside you. They build a mental edge. They create a habit of self-trust. And in tough times, self-trust is everything. When life feels uncertain or painful, most people start shrinking. They play small. They avoid risk. They wait for the storm to pass. But the ones who grow are the ones who lean into resistance. They don't run from challenge. They walk straight into it, even if it's just for a few minutes each day, because they know that resilience isn't built in comfort. It's built in struggle. It's built in friction. It's built in those moments when your mind says, stop, and you say not yet. And it starts with just one decision, one challenge, one action. Each day ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today that I don't want to do, but I know will make me stronger? Then do it. Not perfectly, not with a smile, but with purpose. Do it because you need to show your mind that you are not afraid of effort, that you are not afraid of challenge, that you are not afraid of the work required to become better. Mental toughness is about keeping your word to yourself. It's about honoring the decision, long after the motivation is gone. It's about getting through the hard moments, not because they feel good, but because you know who you want to become. And you can't become that person by staying in your comfort zone. The hard thing you do each day doesn't have to be visible to the world. It just has to be honest. Something that stretches your willpower, something that forces you to grow, something that requires focus and commitment. The kind of thing that you'd rather avoid, but don't. Each time you finish a difficult task, even a small one, you gain something invisible. You gain grit, you gain confidence, you gain belief. And that belief becomes a foundation for everything else. It becomes a reminder that you can do more than you think, that your limits are not fixed, that your strength is not dependent on your situation. It's something you can build, no matter what is happening around you. Hard times often strip away the things we usually rely on: routine, comfort, support, stability. But they also give us a rare gift, the chance to prove something to ourselves, the chance to discover just how strong we can be when the excuses are gone. And that strength doesn't come from thinking. It comes from action. So take that action. Choose the difficult thing, not to punish yourself, but to train yourself, to remind yourself that you're not fragile, you're not broken, you're not stuck. You have control over your effort, and that effort becomes power. Some days that hard thing might be pushing through a workout when your body is tired. Other days it might be facing an uncomfortable truth. Sometimes it's continuing to work on your goals, even when there's no instant result. Sometimes it's getting through the day without giving up on your discipline. These are the moments that shape you. These are the reps that strengthen your mind. And when it gets uncomfortable, and it will, you don't run, you don't negotiate, you breathe, you reset, you keep moving. Because the ability to stay calm under pressure is not natural. It's trained. And that training comes from doing the hard things no one else sees. Most people are controlled by their feelings. If it feels hard, they stop. If it feels boring, they quit. If it feels uncomfortable, they wait. But mental toughness is doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. Not because you don't feel, but because your purpose is greater than your feelings in that moment. And the more you live this way, the less you fear challenge. You stop seeing hard things as threats. You start seeing them as opportunities. You start craving growth. You start trusting your own ability to adapt. You stop saying I can't, and start asking how can I? This is how you survive tough times. Not by waiting for life to get easier, but by getting stronger in your choices, stronger in your effort, stronger in your belief. The person you want to become is on the other side of the hard thing you keep avoiding. And the good news is, you don't need to do everything today. Just one thing. One meaningful, difficult thing. The kind of thing that builds you. Even if no one notices but you. Do that thing. Today, not tomorrow. Not next week. Start now. Prove to yourself that you are not here to coast. You are here to rise. And if it feels heavy, remember this: discipline weighs ounces. Regret weighs tons. Don't carry the regret of avoiding what could have made you stronger. Carry the pride of knowing you leaned in. You stepped up. You did the work. And you made yourself unshakable. Because that's what mental toughness really is. It's choosing the challenge that grows you instead of the comfort that holds you back.
Number 6. Control your thoughts before they control your actions. Your thoughts are powerful. They have the potential to shape your reality, for better or for worse. The thing about thoughts is they are not neutral. They either move you toward progress or they pull you back into complacency. The difference between success and failure often lies in how we manage our thoughts in the toughest moments. When life gets difficult, it's easy to let negative thoughts take over. Fear, doubt, frustration, and discouragement can begin to flood your mind. These thoughts come from the stories you tell yourself, the habits you've developed, and the patterns that you've allowed to run your mind. The problem is that if you don't control them, they will control you. They will dictate what you do, how you feel, and the choices you make. You need to recognize that your thoughts do not control you unless you let them. You have the ability to choose which thoughts you engage with and which thoughts you push away. The moment you realize this power, you regain control of your life. One of the most important aspects of surviving tough times is learning how to control your thoughts. When things aren't going as planned, when the world feels heavy, when obstacles seem insurmountable, this is when your thoughts will try to dominate. If you allow yourself to get swept away by negative thoughts, you'll end up paralyzed by fear, overwhelmed by uncertainty, and stuck in a cycle of inaction. But if you can learn to control your thoughts, you can change the course of your actions. It all starts with awareness. Most people don't even realize how often their mind is hijacked by negative thoughts. We let our minds run wild, and we wonder why we're feeling stuck, anxious, or frustrated. The first step to taking back control is simply noticing what you're thinking. What are the first thoughts that pop into your mind when you wake up? Are they positive? Are they hopeful? Or are they filled with doubt and worry? You must pay attention to these thoughts. Are they helping you move forward? Or are they keeping you in a state of stagnation? You can't control your thoughts if you don't acknowledge them first. Just like you can't control your actions unless you're aware of what you're doing. Once you become aware, you can start choosing which thoughts you want to feed and which ones you want to dismiss. Another important thing to remember is that your thoughts are not facts. Just because a thought enters your mind doesn't mean it's true. Negative thoughts are often based on fear, insecurity, or past experiences, but they don't have to define your future. The key is to question your thoughts. Ask yourself, is this thought serving me? Is this thought helping me? Is this thought moving me closer to my goals, or is it keeping me stuck? This simple practice of questioning your thoughts can dramatically change your mindset. When you feel yourself slipping into negative thinking, stop and take a moment to ask whether those thoughts are productive. Are they true? Are they based on facts or assumptions? What would happen if you chose to think differently about the situation? Remember, you control your response. The thought that pops into your head doesn't automatically require action. You can choose to dismiss it. You can choose to replace it with a better thought, a more empowering thought, a thought that moves you toward the solution instead of the problem. The next step in taking control of your thoughts is to replace negative thinking with positive, empowering thoughts. This is where you start to reprogram your mind. The more you focus on positive thoughts, the more those thoughts will start to influence your actions. The more you repeat positive affirmations, the more your mindset will shift from one of doubt to one of possibility. It's not about ignoring challenges or pretending that everything is fine. It's about focusing on solutions instead of problems. It's about believing that no matter how tough things are, you have the ability to figure it out.
It's about choosing to see obstacles as opportunities for growth, not roadblocks to your success. One powerful technique to control your thoughts is visualization. When you visualize your success, you are creating a mental image of what you want to achieve. You are programming your mind to believe that success is possible, and you are setting yourself up to take action. Every time you visualize yourself succeeding, you strengthen your belief in yourself and your ability to overcome the challenges in front of you. Visualization also helps you stay focused on your goals. When you're facing adversity, it's easy to lose sight of what you're working toward. But if you can visualize your desired outcome and reconnect with that vision, you remind yourself why you're pushing through the hard times in the first place. Another effective strategy is to practice gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful ways to shift your mindset. When you focus on what you have, rather than what you don't have, you begin to see opportunities instead of obstacles. Gratitude changes your perspective. It allows you to see the good, even in difficult circumstances. It reminds you of what's working in your life, even when other things seem broken. Taking control of your thoughts also involves managing the environment you expose yourself to, the people you interact with, the media you consume, the conversations you engage in. All of these influence your thinking. If you're constantly around people who are negative, complaining, or not striving for growth, it will be much harder for you to stay positive and focused on your goals. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to be better. Seek out environments that inspire you, that push you to think bigger, that encourage you to grow. You have the power to choose your influences. Be intentional about who and what you let into your mind. And lastly, understand that controlling your thoughts is a skill that takes practice. It won't happen overnight, but every time you take control of your thoughts, you're building mental muscle, and over time you'll get stronger and more resilient. The challenges won't disappear, but your ability to handle them will improve. Your response to adversity will become more powerful. Your actions will reflect your thoughts, and your thoughts will reflect your strength. The best part is that you don't need to wait for everything to be perfect to start controlling your thoughts. You can start right now. In this moment, recognize the thoughts that are holding you back. Replace them with better, more empowering ones. Visualize your success. Be grateful for the small wins, and take action based on your new mindset.
Number 7. Spend daily time in silence to hear your truth. We forget to sit quietly and just listen. We live in a world that constantly demands our attention. Phones, work, social media, family, obligations, they're all pulling us in different directions. And amidst all the noise, we lose touch with the most important voice we have, our own. Spending time in silence isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. It's in these quiet moments that you can hear the truth of who you are, what you want, and what you need to do next. Silence allows you to connect with your deeper self. It gives you the space to hear your inner voice, the one that isn't influenced by other people's opinions or by the chaos around you. It's in these moments that you can truly understand your desires, your fears, your dreams, and your purpose. If you don't make time for silence, you risk becoming disconnected from your truth. You risk living a life that's guided by external pressures, by what others think you should do, or by fleeting distractions. In tough times, the world can feel overwhelming, but silence is your refuge. It's where you can regroup and gain clarity. It's where you can hear your own heart, your own intuition, guiding you forward when everything else feels uncertain. Spending time in silence doesn't mean shutting yourself off from the world or ignoring your responsibilities. It means carving out moments each day to step back, breathe, and reconnect with yourself. It's a way to clear your mind, quiet your thoughts, and allow the truth to surface. It's in these moments that you can hear what you truly need, not what others expect of you or what society dictates. The power of silence comes in its ability to create space. When you sit in silence, you give yourself room to think, to reflect, and to process everything that's been going on inside your mind. Often, we're so busy reacting to what's happening around us that we don't take the time to understand how we really feel about things. Silence allows us to step out of the noise and listen to the deeper, more authentic parts of ourselves. In tough times, it's easy to feel lost. It's easy to feel like you're floating aimlessly, without direction.
Silence can bring you back to yourself. It gives you a chance to reconnect with your purpose, to check in with your values, and to remind yourself of the strength you have inside. It's not about ignoring the struggles you face, it's about finding the space to see them clearly, to process them, and to decide how you want to move forward. One of the most important benefits of spending time in silence is the clarity it provides. When we're constantly surrounded by noise and distractions, it's hard to see things clearly. Our thoughts become muddled, and we start reacting instead of responding thoughtfully. But when we spend time alone in silence, we create the conditions for clear thinking. We can look at our challenges from a fresh perspective, without the influence of fear or external pressure. It's in these moments of stillness that we can hear our own truth, the truth that cuts through the noise and points us toward the right decisions. Think about the moments when you've made your best decisions. Chances are, they were made when you were calm, clear-headed, and in touch with your true feelings. Silence helps you achieve that state of mind. It's not about escaping reality or pretending everything is fine. It's about finding peace within yourself, no matter what's happening in the outside world. It's about giving yourself the opportunity to hear the thoughts that will guide you forward. The truth is, you already have the answers you need inside you. But in order to access them, you have to slow down. You have to stop searching for answers in other people, in external circumstances, or in temporary distractions. You already know what you need to do. You already know what your heart wants. But it's easy to forget when you're constantly caught up in the noise. Daily time in silence allows you to remember. It gives you the opportunity to reconnect with your truth and to hear what's been buried under the weight of distractions and stress. And when you can hear that truth clearly, you can act with purpose and confidence, knowing that the choices you make are aligned with who you truly are and what you truly want. You might be wondering, how do you create time for silence in your daily life? The answer is simple. You make it a priority. It doesn't have to be a long, complicated ritual. It can be as simple as setting aside 10-15 minutes each day to sit quietly, close your eyes, and breathe deeply. You can do this first thing in the morning, before you dive into the demands of the day. Or you can do it before bed, to clear your mind and reflect on the day's events. The key is to be consistent. Make silence a non-negotiable part of your day, even if it's just for a few minutes. During this time, allow yourself to let go of all the things that are pulling at you. Don't focus on what you need to do next, what's happening in the world, or the problems you're facing. Just focus on your breath and the quiet space around you. Allow your mind to wander, but don't judge it. Just listen to whatever thoughts arise, and notice what you're feeling. Sometimes you might find that you don't have any answers right away, and that's okay. Silence is a practice, not a one-time fix. The more you spend time in silence, the more your inner wisdom will begin to surface. In tough times, it's easy to feel like you're stuck, like you're caught in a storm with no way out. But silence offers you a lifeline. It offers you a way to find peace in the chaos. It offers you the space to breathe, to think, and to realign yourself with what truly matters. Silence allows you to let go of fear, to release tension, and to reconnect with your core strength. It reminds you that you are not alone, you are not lost, you have everything you need within you to navigate through the challenges you face. The more you practice silence, the more you will start to hear your own truth clearly. You'll start to understand what you really need, what you truly want, and how you can move forward. And when you can hear your truth, you'll have the confidence to take action, knowing that you're making decisions based on your authentic self, not based on fear or uncertainty. So make time for silence each day. Create space in your life to sit with yourself, to hear your thoughts, and to reconnect with your truth. In the silence, you'll find the answers you've been looking for. You'll find the strength to face whatever challenges come your way. And you'll find the clarity to move forward with purpose, confidence, and conviction. Number 8. Push yourself physically to activate inner emotional strength. When life becomes tough, we often feel trapped within ourselves. The weight of challenges, the pressure of expectations, and the uncertainty of the future can sometimes make us feel weak, stuck, or overwhelmed. In moments like this, we tend to forget that we have more strength inside us than we realize. Sometimes the key to unlocking that strength is pushing ourselves physically. Physical challenges are more than just about building muscle or endurance. They're about awakening a deeper strength within. Your body and your mind are connected in ways that go beyond what we often realize. When you push yourself physically, you don't just develop your body, you activate a reservoir of emotional resilience that can carry you through the toughest times. Physical activity has a direct impact on your emotional well-being. Exercise, movement, and even pushing your body through difficult tasks can help you release pent-up stress, anxiety, and frustration. When you push your body to its limits, you activate your brain's natural ability to release endorphins, your body's own feel-good chemicals. This isn't just a short-term boost. It helps you reset your mindset. The physical challenge of pushing yourself past your limits makes you realize you have more control over your situation than you think. In tough times, our natural reaction is often to retreat, to stay comfortable, to avoid discomfort. But the truth is, real growth happens when we push ourselves beyond our comfort zones. Just as your muscles grow stronger when they're stretched and challenged, your emotional strength grows when you push through hardship and discomfort. This is where the power of physical activity comes into play. When you exercise or engage in physical challenges, you are literally training your body and your mind to endure. Whether it's lifting weights, running, cycling, swimming, or even something as simple as a long walk, pushing yourself physically forces you to tap into a deeper well of strength. It requires you to dig deeper, to find that extra energy, and to keep going even when you think you can't. But the key isn't just in the physical exertion, it's in the mindset you develop along the way. The physical effort you put forth becomes a metaphor for the emotional resilience you build. When you're running and your legs are burning, and you think you can't go another step, that's when you need to remind yourself that the mind is far more powerful than the body. You can choose to stop, or you can push forward. You can choose to give in to the discomfort, or you can take a deep breath and keep going. Every time you push through the discomfort, you strengthen your mental and emotional endurance. You teach yourself that you are capable of more than you think. This connection between physical strength and emotional strength is powerful. Every time you push yourself physically, you are sending a message to your brain that you are capable of handling more, that you are resilient and strong. And when you're able to persevere in one area of life, physically, it makes it easier to persevere in other areas emotionally and mentally. The discipline you develop from physical challenges translates directly into your ability to handle difficult emotional situations. Take, for example, the times when you felt overwhelmed or stressed, when you've experienced setbacks, failures, or challenges that seemed insurmountable. In these moments, we often feel emotionally drained, but the truth is, we can shift our emotional state through physical effort. The simple act of moving our bodies in a powerful way helps reset our mindsets. It allows us to step away from our problems momentarily and gives us a fresh perspective. When we're physically active, we activate a mental shift. Physical activity disrupts the cycle of negative thinking, the spiral of worry, and the paralysis of fear. It breaks the chain of self-doubt and opens the door to confidence. You begin to realize that you are more than the limitations you've placed on yourself. You realize that your strength is not just in your body, it's in your mind, your heart, and your spirit. The more you challenge yourself physically, the more you strengthen all aspects of yourself. But pushing yourself physically isn't just about going hard for a few days. It's about building consistency. It's about making physical activity a part of your daily routine, so that you are continuously training your mind and body to handle more. The more you incorporate movement into your day, the stronger you become. Whether it's waking up early to get in a workout, taking a walk during your lunch break, or setting aside time to push your body in some way, consistency builds resilience. Physical challenges also teach us to deal with discomfort. The act of pushing yourself past your limits teaches you how to cope with discomfort, how to manage fatigue, and how to keep going when things aren't easy. This is a powerful life lesson. When you encounter difficulty in other areas of life, the same mindset will help you push through. The discipline, the work ethic, and the determination that you develop through physical challenges will support you when you face emotional or mental challenges. Moreover, physical activity often brings clarity. When you're running, lifting, or doing any type of physical challenge, your mind tends to clear. There are no distractions, no noise, no worries. You're in the moment. You're focused solely on the task at hand. This clarity can be incredibly therapeutic. It allows you to step back from the problem and gain a new perspective. It creates space for solutions, insights, and ideas to emerge. The beauty of pushing yourself physically is that it also reinforces your belief in your own potential. When you conquer a physical challenge, whether it's a tough workout, a long hike, or a challenging race, you prove to yourself that you are capable of far more than you imagined, and that's the essence of growth. Proving to yourself that your limits are not as fixed as they seem. When life is difficult, it's tempting to retreat into comfort, but this is exactly the time when you need to push yourself harder. You need to tap into your inner emotional strength, and one of the best ways to do that is through physical challenges. Push yourself to move your body in ways that challenge you, and you'll find that you can tap into an emotional and mental strength you never thought you had. The connection between physical effort and emotional resilience is profound. Every time you push yourself physically, you break down the barriers of self-doubt and fear. You teach yourself that you can handle discomfort, that you can handle adversity, and that you have the strength to push through. And this lesson carries over into every area of your life. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Start today. Push yourself to do something that challenges you physically. It doesn't have to be extreme. It just has to stretch you beyond what's comfortable. And when you do, you'll discover a well of emotional strength within you that will carry you through any tough time life throws your way.
Number 9. Keep promises you make to yourself every day. We live in a world where promises are often made and broken. People break promises to each other, to their families, to their friends, and yes, even to themselves. But the most powerful promises you will ever make are the ones you keep with yourself. These promises aren't always grand or dramatic, but they are essential for your personal growth, your integrity, and your peace of mind. When you keep the promises you make to yourself every day, you build a foundation of trust, self-respect, and resilience that will carry you through tough times. Life is full of distractions, temptations, and demands. It's easy to get sidetracked, to put off commitments, or to break promises that we've made to ourselves because it's not that important or because it's easier to prioritize something else. But the truth is, the small promises we make to ourselves matter more than we think. They shape our character, our confidence, and our ability to handle adversity. When you make a promise to yourself, you are setting an intention. You are declaring to yourself, "This is what I am going to do." It's a commitment that only you can control, and it's a promise that, when kept, reinforces your self-worth. Every time you honor a promise to yourself, you affirm that you can be trusted. You affirm that you are someone who follows through, who takes action, and who is dependable, not just to others but to yourself. This practice may seem small, but it has a profound impact. Think about the promises you make every day. They could be as simple as "I will wake up early," or "I will take care of my body," or "I will stay focused today." When you keep these promises, even the seemingly insignificant ones, you develop a sense of reliability and discipline. You also build confidence because you prove to yourself that you can be counted on to take action. And this confidence is essential, especially in tough times. When you've been keeping your promises to yourself, you build a mental reservoir of trust that will help you keep going no matter what challenges arise. On the other hand, when you break promises to yourself, it erodes your self-esteem. It sends the message that you can't rely on yourself. Every time you say, "I'll do it tomorrow," or "I'll start next week," you weaken your internal resolve. You begin to tell yourself that you are someone who can't be trusted. This can create a cycle of self-doubt, guilt, and frustration that makes it harder to move forward and overcome obstacles. It's a vicious cycle that holds you back. The most successful people are those who keep promises to themselves day in and day out. They don't wait for the perfect moment or for motivation to strike. They make a promise to themselves and keep it, regardless of how they feel or what obstacles they face. When they say they are going to do something, they do it, and in doing so they create a habit of success. By keeping promises, they build trust within themselves and develop the discipline and willpower that propels them toward their goals. This is why it's important to start small. If you promise yourself that you will do something, make sure it's something you can actually do. Don't make promises that are too big or too vague, because this can lead to disappointment. Start with something simple and achievable. Maybe it's a commitment to exercise for 10 minutes a day, or to spend 15 minutes reading a book.
Maybe it's promising yourself that you will set aside 30 minutes each day for focused work. Start small, but keep your promise. When you do, you'll begin to feel the power of keeping your word to yourself. You'll start to see that you can be trusted, and you'll develop the habit of following through. The promises you make to yourself don't just affect your personal growth, they also influence your mental state. Keeping your promises creates a sense of control in your life. In tough times, when everything else feels uncertain, having the ability to keep promises to yourself is incredibly empowering. It's a reminder that no matter what happens in the world around you, you have the ability to take action and follow through. You have the ability to control your own decisions and actions, which gives you a sense of security even in the face of adversity. But there will be times when life gets in the way. You will face distractions, setbacks, and challenges that make it harder to keep your promises. That's part of life. The key, however, is not to beat yourself up when this happens. It's about getting back on track as soon as possible. When you slip up or break a promise to yourself, don't let it turn into a habit. Acknowledge it, learn from it, and recommit. The moment you stop making excuses and get back to keeping your word, you re-establish the trust you've built within yourself. There is incredible power in honoring the commitments you make to yourself. Every time you keep your promises, you send a powerful message to your subconscious that you are a person who takes action, who follows through, and who is capable of achieving great things. You strengthen your resolve, your sense of discipline, and your belief in yourself. And when tough times come, this internal strength is what will get you through. Moreover, keeping promises to yourself creates momentum. The more you keep your word to yourself, the easier it becomes to do it again and again. This builds a snowball effect of success. As you accumulate small victories, you begin to gain confidence in your ability to tackle bigger challenges. The promises you keep today lay the groundwork for the success and emotional resilience you will need tomorrow. When you keep promises to yourself, you also reinforce your integrity. You become someone who lives by their values, who acts in alignment with their goals, and who holds themselves accountable. This kind of integrity is a rare and powerful quality. It strengthens your character, makes you more reliable to others, and helps you gain the respect and trust of those around you. But most importantly, it helps you gain the respect and trust of yourself. In tough times, we often turn to others for support and motivation, but the best support comes from within. The confidence that comes from knowing that you've consistently kept your promises to yourself is unshakable. When everything else falls apart, the fact that you've been able to rely on yourself becomes your greatest asset. So make a commitment today to start keeping your promises to yourself. Start small, but be consistent. Every day, take action to honor the promises you make. Whether it's something as simple as making your bed, showing up for a workout, or spending a few quiet minutes in reflection, make sure you follow through. And when you do, you'll discover a deeper sense of strength, confidence, and resilience that will empower you to face any challenge with courage and determination. The promises you keep to yourself are the foundation of your character, and when you keep them, you unlock your full potential. So honor your word, trust yourself, and watch as you create the life you desire. Number 10. Act with discipline, even when motivation is gone. There will be days when motivation feels like it's nowhere to be found. You might wake up feeling drained, uninspired, or completely unmotivated to take on the tasks ahead. Motivation, as powerful as it can be, is unreliable. It's a fleeting feeling that comes and goes, often when we least expect it. So, what do you do when the motivation fades? The answer lies in discipline. Discipline is the foundation of success, especially when motivation is absent. Discipline doesn't rely on feelings. It's a commitment to doing the work, regardless of how you feel. When you act with discipline, you continue moving forward, even on days when motivation has completely vanished. And this consistency is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who give up. When the initial excitement wears off, the power of discipline is undeniable. It's easy to be motivated when everything is going well, but true growth happens when you show up, even when you don't feel like it. When the excitement fades and the initial drive has waned, that's when discipline comes in and keeps you on track. It's not about waiting for motivation to strike. It's about doing what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. Discipline is what keeps you going. When the road gets tough, it's the inner strength that drives you to take action, even when your mind is telling you to stop. It's the willingness to push through the discomfort, the fatigue, and the doubt. When motivation is gone, discipline is the engine that continues to move you forward. Think about it. How many times have you started something with great enthusiasm, only to watch that motivation fade as challenges arose? Maybe you began a workout routine with excitement, but after a few days or weeks, the motivation to keep going started to disappear. Maybe you committed to a new project or goal, but as the initial excitement wore off, you found yourself procrastinating or avoiding the work. This is a normal part of the process. The key is not to rely on motivation, but to rely on your discipline to carry you through. The most successful individuals aren't necessarily the most motivated, they're the most disciplined. They don't wait for motivation to strike. Instead, they show up every day, even when they don't feel like it. They set routines and stick to them, no matter how difficult or tiring the process may seem. They understand that progress is made not in bursts of excitement, but in the steady, consistent actions taken day after day. It's easy to get distracted when motivation is lacking. You might feel like skipping your workout, putting off that important task, or procrastinating on your goals. But when you act with discipline, you don't allow those distractions to take over. You remind yourself of the bigger picture, the goals you've set, and the reasons you started in the first place. You push through the urge to give in to excuses, and you commit to your actions, regardless of how you feel in the moment. One of the most powerful aspects of discipline is its ability to build momentum. The more you act with discipline, the easier it becomes to keep going. Even when you don't feel motivated, the habit of taking action continues to grow stronger. It's like building a muscle. At first it feels hard, but over time it becomes second nature. The discipline to keep going, even when motivation is absent, eventually becomes ingrained in your daily routine. It becomes part of who you are, and that consistency is what creates long-term success. When you make the decision to act with discipline, you make a commitment to your future self. You understand that achieving your goals is not about waiting for the perfect moment or for motivation to strike. It's about taking action, even when it feels difficult. It's about showing up, even when you don't feel like it. And over time, this consistency leads to breakthroughs, progress, and success. Discipline is also about developing the right mindset. It's about changing your approach to work and challenges. Instead of relying on feelings of motivation, you approach tasks with a mindset of commitment and responsibility. You shift your focus from how you feel in the moment to what you need to accomplish in the long term. This shift in thinking allows you to act with purpose. Even when the initial excitement has faded, there will always be distractions and obstacles that try to pull you away from your goals. There will always be moments when you feel tired, frustrated, or discouraged. But when you act with discipline, you learn to push past those feelings. You recognize that progress is made through small, consistent actions, not through bursts of motivation. The more you practice discipline, the more you build resilience and perseverance, and the easier it becomes to overcome obstacles. In moments of doubt or struggle, remind yourself of the importance of discipline. Understand that it's not about waiting for the right time or for motivation to show up. It's about taking action because it's the right thing to do, regardless of how you feel. This is where true growth happens. When you can act with discipline in the absence of motivation, you prove to yourself that you are capable of achieving anything, no matter the circumstances. The key is to create systems and routines that don't rely on motivation. When you rely on motivation, you're setting yourself up for inconsistency. Motivation is unpredictable. It comes and goes, and it can't be counted on to carry you through the tough times. But when you build habits based on discipline, you remove the need for motivation. You create a structure that ensures you're always moving forward, no matter how you feel. To build this kind of discipline, start by setting clear, actionable goals. Break your tasks down into manageable steps and create a plan that you can stick to. Hold yourself accountable, even when you don't feel like it. Remember, it's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up and doing the work, day in and day out. This commitment to consistency is what will push you through the tough times and lead to lasting success. The journey won't always be easy, and there will be days when motivation is nowhere to be found. But when you act with discipline, you create momentum that will carry you through even the most challenging moments. You'll find that the more you rely on discipline, instead of motivation, the more empowered and resilient you become. And over time, that discipline will become the driving force behind your success, no matter what life throws your way. So when motivation fades, don't stop. Don't wait for it to come back. Instead, lean into your discipline, commit to your goals, trust in your routines, and keep showing up. Because success isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about taking consistent action, no matter how you feel. And when you act with discipline, you'll unlock your true potential and achieve far more than you ever thought possible.